Hello everyone, my name is Samet Budak, and if you're watching this video, you probably know that I'll be joining ANAMED as a postdoctoral fellow this year. I am a historian specializing in the intellectual and cultural histories of the Mediterranean during the late Middle Ages and early modern period. My work sits at the crossroads of Ottoman, Islamicate, Byzantine, and Renaissance studies. Recently, I completed my dissertation, which challenges the conventional boundaries in the study of Mediterranean history during the 14th and the 15th centuries. Drawing on newly uncovered evidence in several languages, my research reveals the remarkable adaptability and fluidity of knowledge production and transfer across the Mediterranean, a region I describe as a vast semiosphere. Central to my exploration are three influential figures of the time: Gemistos Plethon, a champion of Platonism and one of the foremost political philosophers of the 15th century from Byzantium; Bedrettin of Simavna, an influential Sufi theorist who led a transformative popular uprising against the Ottoman state; and Abdurrahman al-Bistami, a paradigm-shifting encyclopedist and occultist from Mamluk Antioch. My research not only highlights the critical roles of these individuals played, but also through their networks. It demonstrates that knowledge transfer and translation were dynamic processes occurring in multiple directions at a pace far greater than traditionally believed. This exchange of ideas wasn't just about transmitting abstract concepts, it involved direct personal interactions among thinkers. I attempt to reconstruct the intricate networks of both intellectuals and ideas that spanned the Mediterranean world, including themes concerning the interplay between Platonism, Illuminationism, Sufism, the occult, and the ideas about the ancients. This year at ANAMED, I'll be working on a project titled From Constantinople to Cairo: An Interconnected Intellectual History of Anatolia in the Late Medieval Era. Anatolia, a key player in the vast globalizing context I have just described, has been largely understudied by intellectual historians. It was a vibrant meeting ground for thinkers, poets, itinerants, traders, Sufis, and others, from the Ottoman, Byzantine, Timurid, and Mamluk centers, and even from Italy. Additionally, various texts passed through Anatolia and were produced there. The material that illuminates this rich landscape is primarily found in manuscripts from the 14th and the 15th centuries, or in later copies of works from that era. Due to issues embedded in conventional historiography, many of these works remain in manuscript form, unpublished, and virtually untouched. Alongside the collections at the ANAMED Library, I'll conduct my primary source research in Istanbul, this year in two primary locations. I'll be working in the Süleymaniye Library in Istanbul, which houses the world's largest collection of Islamic manuscripts, mostly in Arabic, Persian, and Turkish. For example, among the three thinkers I mentioned earlier, Bedrettin of Simavna is known for his Arabic work on Sufism, Intuitions. While there are some modern translations, they are flawed, and the original text has never been properly edited. The oldest datable copy of the book, from the mid-15th century, is in Istanbul, in the Süleymaniye. Abdurrahman al-Bistami wrote an autobiography, and one of the two surviving copies of this unpublished work is also housed there. In my preliminary research, I identified nearly 100 works by him, many of which are held in libraries worldwide, but the majority are found in the collections of Turkey. The written heritage left by these thinkers, their peers, and even their adversaries offers us a window into the interconnected nature of knowledge production in Anatolia and beyond. This intellectual exchange was not limited to Arabic, Persian, and Turkish. The Islamicate knowledge production in Anatolia and the broader Mediterranean was closely intertwined with Greek literature produced by the Byzantines. To explore this further, I can mention my second main research location, the Topkapi Palace, the former imperial palace of the Ottomans and now a museum located next to Hagia Sophia. While tourists flock there for its grandeur, they often overlook its library and archive. Though smaller in size than Süleymaniye's, the treasures within are of immense significance. The collection includes not just the three major Islamicate languages, but also Greek and Latin manuscripts, Italian documents, and more. Remarkably, this collection even contains works by the Byzantine philosopher I mentioned, Yemistos Platon, but in an unexpected form. The Ottoman court commissioned Arabic translations of Platon's Greek works. One anthology containing three works of Plato, including fragments of his Book of Laws, is preserved in the Topkapi Palace, and you can see some of its pages now. Before his works were received in this way, Platon had direct connections with the Ottoman court. As a young man, he traveled to Anatolia, visiting the Ottoman capital Bursa and possibly Edirne, seeking patronage. Later, many of his students, friends, and even rivals found patronage in the Ottoman court. These Byzantine intellectuals produced knowledge that served the ideological and practical needs of the emerging Ottoman Empire. In other words, Ottoman patronage influenced their work, just as their work influenced the Ottoman court and imperial ideology. Shortly after the conquest of Constantinople in 1453, a court scriptorium at Topkapi Palace began producing Greek books, among others. The book you see is a striking example of the connectivity of the broader Mediterranean. It was copied by a Byzantine intellectual at the Ottoman court scriptorium, bound in an Oriental-style binding, and produced on paper imported from Italy, identifiable by its watermarks. These manuscripts, both in their texts and their materiality, offer a profound understanding of the connectivity and fluidity of knowledge production in the late Middle Ages. I want to emphasize again that Anatolia was at the center of this interconnectedness. This complex system of knowledge production, as seen through these manuscripts, consists of multiple interconnected components interacting in unpredictable ways. While it may seem chaotic at first glance, it can be analyzed through intricate cause and effect relationships, revealing a complexity far beyond simple systems. In this context, even without direct contact, two thinkers could independently arrive at the same conclusions about the same problem. However, as I've mentioned, the amount of direct contact and mobility was immense, with individuals engaging in a shared conceptual pool that transcended religious, political, and ethnic boundaries. My goal this year is to understand how these networks of individuals and ideas created a unified space of knowledge production. I will be spending most of my time working on the manuscripts housed in Istanbul and the rest of Turkey to unearth the complex structure of this panorama. Within the interconnected intellectual landscape I work on, I aim to bring to light the often overlooked roles played by the Ottomans, Mamluks, and Byzantines in a complex web of global intellectual entanglements. Thank you for watching.